In the past 2 weeks, there have been a lot of movement in the political sphere, and one of those is that the big, beautiful bill
Which is
passed.
its official name.
I
That's not
know,
a nickname.
I
That's
know. I'm
literally what
just
they
like,
called it.
what are we? What? Ah, man. Uh, it's a major tax reform legislation that was signed into law on July 4th, 2025. This bill primarily extends and makes permanent many provisions from the 2017 Tax Cuts and the Jobs Act, while introducing new changes aimed at reducing tax burdens, simplifying reporting, and boosting deductions for individuals and businesses. I'm going to run through a quick summary of how this benefits authors, and then Thomas is going to take off. Uh, One thing is a permanent extension of lower individual tax rates. Self employed authors do pay taxes on their net business income. Lower rates will reduce your overall tax bill, usually, if your income falls in mid to higher brackets. For instance, a single author with $100,000 in taxable income might save several thousand dollars compared to the pre this rates. Enhanced and permanent qualified business income deduction, the QBI. Indie authors often qualify for QBI on their royalties and sales income after expenses. This can reduce your tax rate by about 20% on qualified income, which is long term savings. Another
Okay,
one is
let
in.
me. This is too technical here. Let me jump in. So,
You
um,
think I'm being too technical? Everybody strap in. This is going to be awesome.
no, I'm gonna. In general, there's been a lot of drama over the Big Beautiful Bill, and if all you know about the Big Beautiful Bill is from the media, you would think that it's this big deficit killing thing. When most of what's in the Big Beautiful Bill is just keeping changes from happening. So things that were set to expire are now no longer expiring. And actually, I was doing analysis on the Big Beautiful Bill and what the tax implications would be for authors. And I did this analysis using Grok 3 before Grok 4 came out. And then I did it again using Grok 4. Because part of what I was trying to decide is there enough here to even bring in a CPA to talk about it? Because we did a whole episode on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Because back in 2017, that bill had a huge impact on authors in a lot of ways. But because most of this bill just continues what happened in 2017, if you've already optimized your tax strategy for the status quo, the Big Beautiful Bill doesn't impact you very much, actually. But there are some things that do impact authors, and they're almost all for the good. So the typical author is going to see their taxes probably go down by about 5%. Um, Overall. So the qualified business deduction is being expanded a little bit. It's a little bit more generous. One of the biggest impacts, and Jonathan, I know you're going to be excited about this, is that the reporting threshold for 1099s is being
Yeah.
raised from 600 to 2,000.
Oh my gosh.
So, because it was, if you hired a cover designer to
Yep.
design you a cover and you paid them $800, you would now have to file a 1099 with the cover designer and file it with the IRS. Boosting that up to 2,000 is going to mean that for almost all authors, almost all of the time, hiring professionals to help them with specific things is going
Yeah.
to be under that threshold. And if you're spending more than 2,000 at that point, it does make sense to file the 1099. Like the hassle is worth it. What you don't want to do is a ton of paperwork for a bunch of really small transactions.
Right.
And I am really relieved about this uh,
Yeah.
paperwork requirement. We've also see an increased deductions for business expenses and assets. So it's slightly easier to take deductions. You can
Hmm.
take slightly larger deductions. The amortization requirements are being streamlined. I'm going to skim over this because for a lot of folks this doesn't apply. One thing that applies for me specifically is that it's increasing the child tax credit,
Woo.
which I really appreciate as somebody with lots of
Repopulate
children.
the earth.
um, so I'm looking over some of these other changes. The big thing is this is a lot of drama for not a lot of change.
Yeah.
So the reason why the Congressional Budget Office said this was going to create such a big fiscal drop was because it was assuming that these would expire and the tax rates would go up. They also weren't looking at the money coming in with tariffs. So we've already raised like $500 billion in tariffs. I think it was 300 billion already just in the last like 3 months. And so, anyway, I don't want to get into all of that, but the standard deduction is increasing to $15K or $31K if you're married filing joint. And so that's going to reduce your income and
Taxable income.
taxable income.
Yeah.
So you're also able to get it's slightly better depreciation on assets. So you could fully deduct a $5,000 laptop,
Which is a big deal.
Yeah. So if y'all if I see that there's some confusion on like how to apply this from a tax planning strategy, I might bring on a CPA to talk about it. One interesting thing is AI has not made CPAs any less busy. So there was 30,000 CPAs in the country back in 1975. And most of them did most of the time was using abacuses to create spreadsheets. Or they got a typewriter, a 4-function calculator later in the 70s, and it would make them go really fast. And then VisiCalc came out, and they could make a spreadsheet like this. And the number of CPAs in the country went from 35,000 CPAs in the country to 1 million CPAs in the country.
No, I thought it was going to take their jobs, not make more jobs.
So this is the same thing I've noticed with graphic designers. So I'll hear non-graphic designers talk about, oh, AI is going to put all the graphic designers out of business. But every actual graphic designer I've talked to, they're so busy you can hardly talk to them. They're like swamped. They're like not even emailing you back. You email them like, I want to hire you. And they're so busy, they don't even email you back because they're so busy. So I'm not convinced this AI job apocalypse is real. In most cases, it is real in some cases. Copywriters legitimately got hit. And if you were a blog post writer back in the day, now people are using AI for that, and that job really did go away. But in a lot of other spaces, it's creating demand, like editors. There's a new kind of editor called a slop editor. I think I may be coining
You're
this
coining
term.
this, yes.
So there's a lot of people who are using AI to write a book, and then they want to hire an editor to take the AI slop that they wrote because they want to tell their story, but they don't want it to feel AI. And so they're going to hire an editor to carve that slop into something presentable for humans. And so it's something in between a developmental editor and a ghostwriter. And the demand for this is rising, and it's going to go through the roof. So if you're an editor and you're looking to make some money, becoming a slop editor or offering that as a service could be really lucrative. We may need a more flattering term than slop editor. I think that's a
Give me your slop.
feed me your tired
Throw
and
it
your poor.
in the bucket.
I can turn your slop into a masterpiece.